Ruslan.
The Chosen independent show many of you guys are familiar of had to stop production because this entire debacle happened in Hollywood. But there's an unexpected twist to the story. This is what was happening. An important update from Dallas on the Screen Actors Guild strike. We just covered the Actors Guild. If you guys don't know what's happening, the writers were striking and now the actors are striking. Okay, which starts tonight. Unfortunately, despite the requested work we did on our end, an exemption for us will not be granted in time to avoid the shutdown. We will do little filming tomorrow of everything that doesn't require our cast, and then we'll wait and hope that either the strike ends, unlikely soon, or that we're granted an exemption and can resume filming. Yes, it's upsetting and will cost time and money. Can you imagine how much money they got to be burning through if you just stop production? Everyone's there and you're just like, no, we're not filming.
A couple $10,000 a day.
But we bring our loaves and 2 5 fishes God handles it. So what's basically happening is Hollywood is having an entire tear right now. Initially, because writers weren't getting paid right, and there were some conversations about is it ethical to use AI and Chat GPT and whatever other access they have. And then it escalated to the actors getting involved, right? The actors said, oh, well, we're going to be a part of this protest. Now, here's the update. Great news. We just received word from SAG that we have been approved for a waiver. We'll continue shooting on Monday. To be clear, we agreed to all of SAG's requests, and their interim agreement to season 4 is entirely independent and 100% funded by donation. So this is an interesting plot twist. Why? Well, because if you guys didn't know, the entire debacle was about compensation for actors, for extras, for the guy in the corner holding the light, the people tinkering with the camera. It's a whole lot that goes into these productions. And so SAG is the union that represents them, and there were certain specific things that they wanted. And because The Chosen is crowdfunded and because they're independent, meaning they're not a part of a big studio. Why? Because the big studio is going to go tit for tat. They want to keep their overhead as low as possible, right? But when you're independent, you have the flexibility to do some of these different things. You can actually maneuver more flexibly, right? So let's look at how TMZ is covering this. Go to the very top. This is an interesting headline they ran with. Show me the headline because I want to see the headline. It says, Jesus series gets SAG waivers, shows goes on amid strike. Now, look at the writing. A miracle came down on behalf of one of Hollywood shows that can now continue to work with its actors amid the SAG-AFTRA strike, and it benefits none other than Jesus, or at least fans of his story. Showrunners for the popular Christian-based show, the show now Sunday, go down. Okay, it says the reason they received a waiver from the Screen Actors Guide, which essentially gives them an exemption to keep filming, even though the rest of the major productions in town are shut down. Deadline was first to report the news. The folks who run The Chosen, shout out to Dallas Jenkins, who's doing a great job, Twitter account had actually been pleading with SAG to cut them some slack, and luckily it came in record time. They were worried they'd have to pause things in Utah where they're in the middle of shooting a new season unless they got the waiver, and since they received it in just a few days, they're now totally off schedule. Okay, now as far as why they're getting the waiver while other productions have to wait in the wings, it actually has nothing to do with what you may think, namely some kind of religious loophole. Of course, TMZ is going to be like, there's some kind of religious loophole. Christian nationalism, aka not having major ties to a TV or movie studio as far as funding. Okay,
no,
so
on the contrary, it has more to do with whether the movie is independent.
Yes. So on the contrary, it has more to do with the show movie is whether the show movie is independent, aka not having ties to a major TV or movie studio as far as funding. The Chosen certainly has a grassroots background. It initially got off the ground via crowdfunding, but has since kind of gone mainstream. That's kind of, I don't like the kind of.
That's bad rating or writing too.
Kind of gone mainstream.
Kinda.
With licensing deals being struck among a number of major studios like Netflix, Amazon, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so Zach, you know a little bit more than I do about this world, but it sounds like because they're independent, they can adhere to the demands of the union.
Yep.
Probably pay the actors and the background people what they're worth, right? And that will allow them to continue working.
Yeah.
This sounds like a clear cut, like this is the perks of being independent.
Yeah, it's because the other productions are tied to studios, and the studios won't give the green light to the productions because they're mad at the SAG or the Writers Guild. So the productions can't work independently from the studios, whereas The Chosen can. The Chosen is 100% independent from the studios.
Yep.
And so they can just make up their own temporary terms and be like, hey, whatever you want, SAG, we got it. And then we'll keep going and moving on. And there's no movie studio that's being greedy or working behind the scenes to say, no, you can't accept that deal. Because I'm sure there's other productions that would work with SAG and the Writers Guild, but the studios, the execs that are like kind of money driven and kind of intense are saying no.
This reminds me of the age-old why it's better, in my opinion, to work for a small business than a massive corporation, right? We're seeing the rise of BS office jobs. We've seen that phenomenon. And middle management, all these things are not in a vacuum. They're all connected. And so if you're working with people who are running their own operation, who are fundraising their own money, who are self-funded, they're not affiliated with a school, you just get more flexibility. That's how it works.
What do you think is the importance for Christians to not be tied to the mainstream or like traditional ways of doing media? Is there anything there with like maybe censorship or whatever that is?
Well, I think obviously the concern of censorship, but two, it's these type of debacles. If you are now attached to having to adhere to whatever some studio guy that's disconnected with the people day to day, and they're trying to tell you like, look, man, we're writers, like we're not making any money, or the extras aren't making any money, or these people can't survive right now. You're going to be closer to the front line of people engaging in this industry than someone that's in some fancy studio detached from the people doing the work day to day.
Yeah.
Right. And I have a feeling The Chosen's probably substantially more efficient with their money.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So I heard Lil Dicky say that his shows are $500,000 a day. You're not being efficient there.
Nah, you're
get out of here. That's so
fun.
Inflated and bloated. And there's just, the gaff tape guy has to make a certain number. This person got to make a certain number. This person got to make a certain. All these folks unionized. And in Hollywood's case, that's what it. So yeah, you're talking about $500K a day, $25 million a season. I'm pretty sure The Chosen is way more shrewd with how they spend money, and that is why. That is probably why they're able to pay people maybe better, to pay the actors better. That would be my presumption. Now that's a guess, right? But
when there's probably less red tape,
yes,
and studios siphoning some money off the top, like things probably just cost cheaper. Yep. You're not paying the industry standard rate,
right?
They can kind of like negotiate, move like that.
Yeah, or maybe you're paying more than the industry standard rate, but maybe you're using technology that the rest of the industry hasn't caught up to yet.
What does that even mean?
You know what I mean? Like the use of newer technology for green screens, right? Or the way they shot that
walking
scene,
on water
the walking on water scene. I'm pretty sure there was some innovation with how they did that. I don't think they just like did it the typical Hollywood way.
I mean, that's been around.
I know it's been around.
Okay.
I'm saying I'm pretty sure they didn't do it the typical Hollywood way.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
See what I mean?
So they achieved the same effect with some of the same sound stages.
Yes.
But we're like, let's cut costs here. Let's cut costs here.
Yes.
Let's do this so that we can pay this guy.
Yes.
Let's pay the VFX guy better than the guy that fills up the gallon of water.
Right. As a small business owner, what are you doing? You're prioritizing the main thing. What is the main thing? The main thing is your people.
Yeah.
So if you're taking care of your people, then you're probably being a bit more careful on the other systems that need to be getting, the fat need to be getting trimmed on. Yeah. That would be my guess. Now I don't know. I'll text Dallas about it and try to get some clarity. But that's what it seems like. It seems like the way these Hollywood studios are operating is greedy, but then there might also be some waste on the day to day. And then when you're independent, I feel like you're trying to stretch every dollar.
And on top of that, The Chosen gets every season funded way ahead of time. So all these other studios are coming out of pocket, hoping that these seasons perform well.
Yep.
So they're also they're producing from like a mindset of scarcity a little bit more than The Chosen. They're like, we already know people are gonna love this. Like we're using the money they already paid for. So that's awesome.
That's good. If you want to partner with us for as little as $5 a month, help us continue staying independent, get access to this daily after party stream completely unedited, get access to our podcast before they go live, get access to our private Discord, discount to the store, so much more. Ultimately, this keeps us independent, answering only to you, so we never have to take a brand deal and make goofy commercials like these.
Our friends at Genucel Skincare have exciting news to celebrate in 2023.
Using Manscaped during my showers after workout has given me much more confidence.
And that's where Mud Water comes in.
True Classic has got your back.
All thanks to the sponsor of today's video, SaveMine.com.
Established Titles is your opportunity to earn the title of Laird or Lady. Subject to credit approval, rates range from 7.99% APR to 19.99% APR, included 0.50% auto pay discount.
If you don't want us to make ads with brands you don't care about, sign up for our online community for as little as $5 a month to keep us independent and ultimately answering to you as our boss. You get all sorts of benefits like daily replays of our after party streams, exclusive access to our Discord community, and early access to our podcast interviews, all starting for only $5 a month.
Kingstream Entertainment.